Hello, dear colleagues. Welcome back to this educational channel. In this episode, we are going to talk about how to teach a science concept, the water cycle. The best way to teach this concept is using the cycle diagrams method. This method is particularly effective in elementary classrooms because it caters to visual and interactive learning styles. In practice, you can implement this method by drawing the water cycle with labels and arrows in a circle. If your students are too young to remember the entire water cycle process, then you can shorten it by focusing only on evaporation and condensation, or you can add more processes such as precipitation, collection, and infiltration. As a teacher, you can write keywords related to the water cycle on chart paper or a whiteboard. Some examples include sun, clouds, rain, snow, puddles, rivers, and groundwater. Let the students arrange these keywords in a circle in the correct order according to the water cycle. After completing the circle, students can read each step aloud and explain why they think it's in that particular place. This will allow them to internalize the sequence of the processes. Another way to do this activity is by providing each student or pair of students with a large sheet of paper and markers. Ask them to draw the water cycle on their paper. They can color the diagram and add labels. To make it more interesting, you can also ask them to cut out the diagrams into circles. If you want to modify this activity, you can ask students to draw only one part of the water cycle. For example, if your students are still too young to understand the whole process, you can ask them to draw only two parts such as evaporation and condensation. Then connect the diagrams of all students to form a complete water cycle. If you have access to colorful, tactile materials like pipe cleaners, clay, beads, and blocks, use them to create a 3D model of the water cycle. Students can take turns manipulating the model and describing what's happening at each stage. You can also use online simulations and interactive games to help students visualize the water cycle. At the end of the lesson, ask students to write or dictate a few sentences describing what they've learned about the water cycle. This will help them reflect on the main ideas and will give you an assessment of what they've learned. Alternatively, students can draw a picture of the water cycle and write a sentence or two explaining it. This will allow you to assess their understanding of the concept while tapping into their creativity. If your students are more advanced, you can challenge them to research and present on different types of precipitation such as rain, snow, sleet, and hail. Or you can ask them to investigate how the water cycle affects weather and climate. For students who need additional support, you can provide them with a partially completed diagram or a list of keywords to help them stay on track during the activity. You can also pair them with a more advanced student who can provide guidance and support. This method is suitable for diverse learners because it provides multiple opportunities for students to demonstrate their understanding of the water cycle. It also allows students to learn at their own pace and in their preferred learning style. For example, students who are kinesthetic learners can enjoy the hands-on activities, while visual learners will benefit from the colorful diagrams and illustrations. To differentiate instruction for English language learners, you can provide them with sentence starters or a word bank to help them communicate their ideas effectively. You can also use visuals and realia to support their understanding of the vocabulary used in the water cycle. If you liked our previous videos and are using our lessons, please leave a comment below. We would love to hear about your experience using our materials. Also, don't forget to show your support if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching. See you next time.